Sarah, what's up, what's up, what's up? Oh, what's going on here? What's going on, S? What's going on, Patty? What's going on, Heather? You're not early, Michael. Saw my flashing and comes to surface last Thursday. Oh, wow, I'm sorry, buddy. Uh, Hopefully you got it under control. Breathing heavily means a lot of times, a lot of these diseases don't just affect the skin of the animal, they also seem to affect inside the gills. So depending on what type of parasite you might have, because it is a variety of animals, not just one type. It's a multitude of similar parasites that create similar issues. And depending on what type of ick you might have or what type of specific ick you might have, it can get into the gills of the animal. That is when you have a problem, is when it's infected in the gills. And if the animal's breathing heavy, that's because even though the skin infection is gone, the gill infection, the parasite is still inside the gills of your fish. So hopefully you get that under control. It could be epistalis. Yeah, it could be. I was just thinking that also. Stress is what causes the animals to get sick once there is a parasite. So there might be a parasite in your tank, and if your animals are not stressed, a lot of times they won't get sick. And then the parasite will still remain in your tank dormant, like going through the fish but not infecting them per se. And then all of a sudden, if your fish gets weak through whatever reason, or in the winter when the tank gets a little cold, or the fish metabolism slows down, whatever, that's when the infections come out. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Thank you. Hopefully you get it under control. Yeah, definitely. I agree with S on that. I'm sorry, buddy. It's a lesson everybody learns over one of these episodes, or some people go through several, and then even after you learn, even myself, there's times I'll bring something in and throw it in, and I mean, usually it doesn't happen, but there has been times, and it does happen. So don't beat yourself up. Just stay strong. What's going on, Steiner? How you doing? Congratulations on your discus spawn. You guys want to see Princess? Look at this fatty. Look at this fatty. Chunky fatty. Chunky fatty. Out of bubbles. What's going on? What's up? Yeah. How you guys doing? Hope everybody's having a great evening. Yeah, like don't let it get to you, buddy. It happens, Michael. So just hang in there. And Steiner is getting some brand new wild card discus, so that's amazing. Really nice. Congratulations. We'll congratulate you again once you get them, but definitely congratulate you right now. So I do have some tanks set up. We did bring some fish over. This guy was like, he does not travel well. Okay, I gotta tell you. This is my cousin's fish. His female passed away, unfortunately. So I feel really shitty about the whole thing. And so this guy, I brought him over because he was by himself. So now I'm trying to pair him up with this female here. And I do have other fish. We'll look at those in a second. Just to give some more people time to jump in the stream. But he does not travel well. So those damages on the side were from him coming from Montreal to Toronto a few months back in the winter, and they're just heating up. And today, I had him in a bag, and he ripped himself to shreds. Like a lot of his slime was coming up. Unlike, see, this guy's calm and chilling. She's really chill. He was not chill at this, so I had to be a little concerned, so I let him out already. So he's in there. I was gonna wait till I started streaming to let them out. So there's these two. There's some more fish in these buckets, which are gonna go in the same tank. So we'll look at them in a second. And also I brought some shrimp, like I promised. So we're gonna set those guys up in here. And I do need to get a filter situation going on in their tank, but it's not mandatory per se. It's just something I want to do for them. I did bring a separate air pump for them and everything. So I'll set them up once I find the air pump that I brought over. We did bring some betas. So let me turn the lights on in here just so we can see what's going on. There we go, better lighting. I did bring these betas. Let me look at, I'll show you guys what we got, what we brought over. I didn't want to bring everything. I just want to put some fish in to tanks, see how they're doing over the next day. I'm going to start bringing more fish in tomorrow. So here, what's going on, Mr. Gas Do 420? Okay, so we brought some betas. There's a girl. There's her husband. There he is. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put one in each of these tanks for now. Not too much worried about these guys here. So let's just put them in. So we can open this bad boy up and just pour it in. There it is. First beta in the house. There we go. There's some sphagnum moss in here to help with the pH and release tannins and stuff, and to make the environment good for that one. And this one does not have sphagnum moss, but I'm not too worried. There's some plants that I brought in the container, so just dump it in. There he is. Real nice. Definitely probably shocked right now because it's a tank. He was in a breeder box for a while. So give him some time to calm down and relax, but let's look at how it looks. There we go. Can't really get up in there because of the way it's set up, but there he is. There we go. He's gonna go take a breath. All right, we'll come check up on him in a bit. Let's set up the shrimp tank. So essentially, this is what I'm doing with the shrimps. These guys were in a breeder box all the last little while. So I just bagged the entire breeder box full of shrimp and brought it over. So what we're gonna do now is gently open the bag and release them. So this tank has had nothing in there. So there's no cycle, there's nothing here. And what's gonna cycle the tank instantly, you will see that in a second when I dump this out. So give me 30 seconds to open the bag. I'm trying to salvage the bag because this bag is not ripped. I hate throwing stuff. I know these things have sense, but it's still plastic waste, right? So if you can recycle this a couple of times, it's a good thing. All right, there's 8 of you guys on with 8 thumbs up. Alrighty, let me turn this light off so you can see better. All right, so this is the tank. Okay, what's going on, Leo? All right, what's going on, Freaky Fish Lady? He's the alpha beta, yeah. Definitely, bro. Complimentary bowl, yes. What's going on, Sandy? How's my Zebras doing? They're doing good. What's going on, Jelmer? All right, so you guys ready for this? So what we're gonna do is just, this is where the shrimp are. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time trying to get them. You know, there's no acclimatization or nothing required here. These guys are shrimp, you know. They're just shrimp. Shrimp are one of the easiest things to keep alive in the hobby. So just gonna let you guys know, it's not a hard thing to keep or breed shrimp. Especially these guys. These are Neocardinas, which are crystal red or sakura shrimp. These are actually sakura shrimp. So they're really nice red. Alrighty. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Voila, we have some shrimp. Try to see if there's any we can kind of get on film. That's a little guy running around. I don't know if you can see it, but there's another one. Well, it's hard to see them, but there's one right there. See? Nice. Doing good. There's another one. So far, so good. Okay, so what did I just do? I just dumped the whole bag in with a lot of biological matter. See, there's another one. They're really nice. They're breeding also. So these guys have been breeding at the facility in a breeder box. I had them in a breeder box the whole time I had them, and they've been breeding in the breeder box. There was all this moss inside the breeder box, and so I just took the moss, the gunk that was in the breeder box. There's babies that were born in the new facility. I don't know if you can see them, they're right there. So these were born in my facility over the last like month or so, and they've been breeding in the breeder box by themselves without any intervention. I wasn't even feeding them. I actually forgot I had them in the breeder box. No water changes, no top ups, nothing. They were just sitting in there, not connected to a tank, nothing. So that's how easy shrimp are. Just want to show you guys that little bit of process, because shrimp, a lot of people seem to have a difficult time keeping shrimp alive. A lot of people complain that shrimp are hard and they're extremely difficult, but this would be a good test for us to see how easy or difficult shrimp might actually be once you have a cycled tank, or you have some type of biological material that you can introduce to the tank right away. You can see how there's a lot of shrimp in here. I actually didn't think there was that many. Look. See? There's a lot. There's a lot of little ones. And they were all growing in this breeder box right here, and living in this breeder box, breeding and everything at the house. I brought the whole thing in a bag. Can you keep Cordoras in a breeder box? That is no. I mean, pygmaeus, yes. You can breed pygmaeus cories in a breeder box. Not even a problem, not a question. Just put them in. As long as you have water flowing through, like a small amount of water flowing through, some moss, some type of plants in there, it's not a problem. For somebody experienced and know what they're doing. But anything larger than pygmaeus, no. Thanks, S. Did I miss somebody's questions? No? Maybe. Thank you, Sandy. What type of water is at the house? Shit water. Brampton shit water. It's not. I'm not happy with the water. We're gonna get an RO system like A-Stat. I think that's one of the things I want to get done right away, is to have an RO unit. But it's not bad. It's the same Toronto tap water. It's just that Brampton municipality is adding a lot more chlorine than where I live. Probably, I don't know. I don't know why. But it's garbage. It's shit water. So, can you keep a colony in a breeding box? So, yes. Leo, I think you will be able to keep a group of like maybe 5 or 6 Pygmaeus corridoras in a breeder box long term, and you can probably even get them to breed in there. They're not a hard fish to keep and breed. I breed mine in tanks this size. These are 2.5 gallon tanks, not much bigger than a breeder box. And I have I usually put 5 in there, two females and 3 males, and every month I get to pull out like 10 or 15 little guys that were born throughout the month, and they leave the babies alone in there. They grow up together. It's not an issue. Jonathan's upset because he's still at work. Let me tell him. Yeah, Non-Stop Aquatics just messaged me. He's like, "You're alive and I'm not even home yet." Whatever your Struis Vogelwer says, "Ugh." Sorry, buddy. You kind of have to acclimatize, make shrimp. They're not as hard as you think they are. John, this is the thing. I've kept shrimp for about 40 years or so now. I mean, I've been doing this for about 40 years in general. So with shrimp, I'm not ever worried like that with these types of shrimp. These are Caradinas. Um, I have tanks that are like sitting in bottom rows where I haven't done anything, and when I try to take the tank out or when I do some maintenance, I find hundreds of shrimp in there. So there's no food being used for a lot of them. I don't feed the shrimp tanks. Like I feed the Caradina tanks just because I'm trying to breed them and stuff. But these guys are just naturally breeding. I might feed these just because I want to breed them. But shrimp are like not a hard animal to keep alive. Is what I'm gonna say. So I'm not saying that it's gonna be easy for a new fish keeper to keep anything alive, even snails. But somebody that is experienced, know what they're doing and stuff, wouldn't have an issue with keeping shrimp alive. And what I did here was not like anything drastic. I had brought the shrimp and stuff about a half an hour ago. They were in the house, so they got temperature acclimatized in that tank. The water in there is new. It's been sitting for about a week now. I set up, this is one of the first tanks I set up. And there's substrate bed that had some biological activity before it dried up, so I'm pretty sure that kind of played a little role in building some biological activity. And they lived in a box this big, and I brought everything that was in the box and I dumped it all into the tank. So whatever the environment they were living in, all the beneficial bacteria and everything that was keeping them alive through that last whole month is in this tank now. So I mean, there's not much more you need to do for them. They're nice, Chris. Yeah, that's actually pretty good prices. $70 for 1 inch. In Toronto, I've seen them for $100 for an inch. That's like going rate here in Toronto for the albino geophagus, about that big, and it's $100. Same price as zebra pleco actually. Sandy has a question. Let's see. I have a question regarding my red angels. Have been thinking of putting a slate in the tank because I think they're pairing up. Yeah, yes, exactly. Very nice, Freaky Fish Lady. Very nice, Mr. Gas Dope 420. So coming back to Sandy's question, yes, put a piece of slate on. Let them lay eggs. So let the mom and dad that like each other, let the pair that like each other lay eggs on the slate. And as they are starting to lay eggs and chase the other 2 or 3 fish in the tank away, that's when you remove them. So that's the best way to get a proper pair. And I'll also show you guys how I'm going to pair up this girl with this dude that's already in the tank. So without further ado, let's actually add some of the fish that we brought from the house into this tank. One of the first things I need to do before I do that is to remove some of the water from here so I can I can add the water that I brought from home into the tank, so I don't have to worry about acclimatizing the fish that I brought in. Okay, so these are little tricks that people do. They don't necessarily always talk about it because there's a lot of pushback in the hobby from other inexperienced hobbyists and stuff, because we're trying to make things good for the fish, right? So like when you look at like the advice that's been given, it's designed for somebody that has no idea what they're doing. So once you know what you're doing, you can skip some of the steps in that process. Like for example, people always say, oh, don't put the water that came in with your fish into your tank because you don't want to get diseases. But if you're bringing fish from a diseased tank, doesn't matter whether you put the water into the tank or not, those fish are going to be diseased, so that's something to keep in mind. These are like little things. What I wanted to say real quickly is I'm going to show you the other fish that we brought. Let me pull them up here. Let's look at this guy for a second. Well, actually, I don't have to pull them out. I have them right here. So these are the fish that I brought. I know you guys have been waiting for this for a while, so let's get in here. Okay. Alrighty. Oh my god. There we go. Alright. So here I am. So there's some fishes that we brought over. Fishes! Ooh, look at those big angels. What are they gonna do? And some more big angels. So these are my babies. I can't afford to lose these. So obviously we're doing everything, you know, um, properly. I'm taking my time with the entire process. So what I did here is I brought 10 gallons or about 8 gallons of their own water to this place with the fish. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this back on. Oh, there we go. We're gonna drain this tank a little bit, right? Give it, you know, some water volume here. Take out some of the water. There we go. It's draining. What's going on, George? Buckets are good. Yeah. They're looking right at you, dude. They're like, whoop, 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 whoop. What's the oldest youth feed he does the evil youngster taste? Yes. So coming to Michael's question, so you can feed it to adults as well. Okay, it's not gonna like affect them feeding the youngster paste. But the problem with the paste, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a little secret about this miraculous food product. The main issue with the youngster grow paste is there is gelatin and binding agents and preservatives that have been mixed into the paste to keep it fresh and in a paste form over like several years, right? 5 years it'll be good. So that material, that those chemical products, a lot of them are not, they do pass through your fish without an issue, but it's not healthy to feed a lot of this stuff to your fish long term. So what you want to do is you want to get them off the paste and onto like something like Dr. Bacillere as soon as possible, because long term the paste can cause digestive issues and other issues and whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind, you know. All right. So while we do this, let's let this fish out. I cannot salvage this bag because she ripped it. There's holes in the bag, so it's useless. So I'm gonna open the bag, let water from the tank go into it, you know, for a few seconds, and she's coming out. Come on, come out. There we go. All right, that's a nice looking fish. Sorry. There she is. So I had this filter running in here for a while. I did put some beneficial bacteria in here a couple of days ago, but this tank has very little beneficial bacteria. So to remedy that issue, this is a filter I bought from home today. This has been in one of my tanks, and this is a cycled filter. So this is what's really doing the filtration and establishing that filter and whatever else in here. And I also bought all these plants that have bacteria and stuff in it to add some more biological matter and some, you know, additional filtration that might be provided by the plant. Something I want to do here in this tank is also, all right, we're done. And let me take this out. There we go. Let me actually empty the hose. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. And alrighty. So what I wanted to say was for the next 3 days to 4 days, I'm not gonna feed these fish. Probably for a week or so, they're probably not gonna get a lot of food because this tank is relatively new. The filters in here, like obviously there's one really good filter, and then there's the hang on the back, which is not fully cycled. And in turn, I don't want to, you know, really add biological waste into the system too fast. So that's something to keep in mind, because if I added food and stuff, that might cause a nitrate or nitrite spike in the tank, which you know, you don't want to have. So to avoid that, what you want to do is not feed them for a week or two. after you do this exact process, what I'm doing here, you know. So that's something I think we might have to do um, with a lot of the tanks that we're moving over. This week everything's going to be moved over for the most part except for the zebra plecos. All the fish would be here by Monday. Today is Tuesday, I'm getting the truck tomorrow, and every day we'll be bringing tanks and fish. So stay tuned, we'll probably live stream some of it, you know, as we're doing it. And if you haven't liked this stream, give it a thumbs up. What's going on, Sandy? Have you heard of Dr. Basilier's Better Tablets? Yes. I haven't tried it, so I can't tell you. I just stick with the basic food because I get it in large containers. I don't want to buy like 8 containers of 6 kilos each, right? Of the different kinds. And I don't want to buy these small little containers. I definitely have not tried it, so I can't give you any honest opinion on it. I have heard that it is good. I know friends that use it, but not for everyday feeding. You have to be careful with some of the other foods that they have. Might be a little bit, you know, the nutritional content might be too much for some of the fish. So that's something to keep in mind. But what I have tried is the kabar, which I really like. I feed it to any animal that is not eating or that has issues or any disease. Anytime I have an outbreak, I feed kabar, which seems to help with their overall health. It's an expensive one, but I definitely feel that that one's good. And I do have positive reviews from other breeders about the exact one. He has a specific one for sensitive fish and for breeding and stuff like that. That one's supposed to be really good also. Um, how do I trust the fish food to be good after breaking the seal? Um, Essentially, you have to store it properly. What I personally like to do is I don't put my hand into the container. Like, let's say I have I'll show you guys. I'll show you my fish food. Actually, I brought a bunch of it over so we can see some of it. So these are some of the fish food that I have. Obviously not feeding this one right now, but these have like proper seals, okay? So this one here is, it's all labeled brine shrimp cubes. So what you want to do is you want to seal it properly, right? So essentially, when I every time I open it and I take it out, I don't open this regularly. That's the first thing you want to keep in mind. So there's the food. Still smells fresh. I actually haven't opened this particular box container for probably almost a year because I don't feed this that often, only to my grow out angels. But when I do close it, I make sure all the air is out as much as I can. So I kind of do one of these, gas it out, seal it properly, then I store it in a cool, dry place. As long as you do that, fish food will last you for a decent amount of time. What I would say is a year or two after opening is pretty normal. I have Ebo sponge in here. This is my bug bites. So I write the date. If it's a fresh container, I write when I opened it. This was opened in 2021 November, 6th of November. It's about halfway full. So there's about 1 kilogram of food left in here. And that will stay fresh for another 2 years as long as anytime I open this lid, I make sure I don't let any moisture get in. But if you do let moisture get in, it will go bad. So you want to make sure no water or water vapor or anything like that in large amounts will get into that. Look at the shrimp. Ooh. So this is a good test actually. If these guys don't die, then that will show to us that this particular system that I used in this setup is definitely working. Look at these guys. There's so many of them. I didn't know I had this many. I definitely didn't know I had this many. I wasn't even looking at them, to be completely honest. What's going on, Marcy? Okay, so let's add some fish. Right? Yes? Yeah. Okay, if you're watching this right now, please give the stream a thumbs up because it helps me out quite a bit when you thumbs up the videos. Alright, so I don't actually have a net today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically pour them all in very gently. Alrighty, so here we go. Ooh. And I'm pouring the fish in slowly into the tank with some of their own water. There's one. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 are in. Okay, we got 6 more in the next bucket, which we will do the same thing with. But I might have to remove some more water. But let's look at the fish we just poured in. There they are. There's 8 fish in here now. And everybody's doing really well. So far, so good. He's been in the tank already for about an hour now. So if there's an issue, I would be reacting to that. He's obviously not doing anything abnormal. He just has a lot of scratches and cuts on him because he does not ship well. He does not. This particular fish is really old. He does not travel well. He does not know me. He does not trust me. He does not like me. You know what I mean? He hates me because every time I go near the tank, he's getting, you know, moved or, you know, like whatever. Like I've only had him for a month or two, so he does not trust me at all. So but he did not travel well, but everybody else did. You can see some more scratches on him and stuff. He will heal up over the next few weeks, and hopefully he pairs up with this girl. I think they will end up pairing up, and that would be a new pairing that we're gonna try to create some platinum marbles out of that pairing, because both marbles and platinums come from the same genetic bloodline. So that's a fun fact. So I do need to remove some more water from here, so I'm going to do that while you guys look at the fish. And here we go. And yeah, so let's put that on. There's some nice fish. I really like this one. All right, let's catch up on the chat. What's going on, Sebastian? Any type of moisture that falls in, yeah. Exactly, yes. So perfectly said. Fish are awesome, Narcy. I agree. Yes, agreed, yes. What's going on, Sebastian? Do angels need to be in groups? What's going on, Bronze Bomber? Okay. Angels, when they're young, tend to be in groups. In nature, they are also found in large herds. So, during non-breeding season, your angel fish will usually tend to congregate together. We'll look at that right now. These animals are all adults. A lot of these animals are, you know, like are a year and a few months. And the 2 big ones that I had in the tank before I poured the little guys in are many years old. Okay, the platinum is about 8 years old, and the black one, I don't know her age, right? So those guys are past, like, paired up now. You know, they've already been paired up with other fish. So in the case of these particular large fish, when they're not breeding, they tend to be in groups, you know, in the river. So they'll congregate together and they live together in a group. But when they are breeding, they do pair off and they chase everybody away. So it depends on what's happening at that time with the fish. If they're not breeding, they definitely will like to live in a group, you know. The larger the group, the better it is. These fish, discus, other types of cichlids do that too, depending on what they're like. Luarus, you know, even severums do that in nature. So these are certain things to keep in mind when you're keeping things like angels. Not all the fish are gonna be friendly and nice to each other either. So like that's something to keep in mind too, you know. So there we go. Alrighty. Okay, so now we're gonna add the other bucket. Oh, there's 29 of you guys on. Patty cichlids. You have trouble with fin rot. Um, it's a bacterial infection. I think kanamycin is a good medication. It's an antibiotic, I believe, and it works really well for fin rot, tail rot. Metroplex also seems to work. Um, like keeping the water clean, keeping the tank bottom clean. If their fins are touching, like I don't know if you want to, if you guys can see, like how this is touching. So if there's bacteria growing here, or some type of pathogen or whatever, that could attach itself onto these trailers and stuff and start causing issues. So that's something to keep in mind. Keeping the bottom clean, or this amount of bacteria, like, or waste is not the issue too much, but if it starts becoming like fungusy and stuff on the bottom, that's a problem, right? So okay. Sultan Malik, hey, what's up, buddy? I went to Tails and Scales to get some pistols today, but they said they're getting a new shipment from Europe next week. And wait, gonna oh no, the Europe shipments are nice as long as they arrive. This is the problem, right? um, Harold will always tell me, like, yeah, we're getting like 800 new species tomorrow, and then when the shipment comes, like there's only like 5 types of fish, and they're all the regular types. So it's a hit or miss with that. Is because sometimes they don't ship out everything that they're supposed to. Fish, I don't know, whatever. Somebody else pays them more. Oh, Michael just messaged me. Still at work. What's going on, Urban Angel? So, but they do get really nice stuff. So, hopefully, the worth is wait. It's worth the wait. Do you think Apistos can be kept with GBRs? Okay, they can. They can, and they can't. So that's something to keep in mind. When you can keep them together is if you have a very large aquarium, and it's a planted tank with lots of hides and caves and structure, lots of breaks in the lines of sight, and things like that. Then definitely yes. Like I'm talking 125 or 180 gallon, and you can keep like 2-3 breeding pairs of rams plus like a breeding group of like apistos of the same type, like potentially maybe 6 or 8 of them, 2 males and several females, and they will be able to manage themselves in that tank without too much aggression. But if you're dealing with something like this size, this is a 30 gallon, okay, in this particular tank you can only keep one of the 2 species. If you are trying to keep both species, when they do breed, because they are going to want to breed in the same type of environment, probably probably would desire the same caves for both species or breeding spaces, and that's going to create a lot of tension and fights and stuff. So that's something to keep in mind. One of the weaker ones out of the group will end up dying in that context. So that's something to keep in mind. What's going on, Urban Angel? And so something also to keep in mind is dwarf cichlids like apistos, for example, can and will disturb your plecos. Okay, especially really small guys and stuff. They will fight for the same caves sometimes, and they also bite the tails and harass them, sometimes. So that's something to keep in mind. But generally, if it's a large enough tank, again, it can work. Okay. Patty says, my sister has a pair and the males are very aggressive even before they paired. That's true. That's true. Thank you, and yeah, these are some of the fish I bred last year. So these guys are about a year old. Okay, let's get the other ones in here. Alright, there's 5 more? 5 more? Yeah, 5 more. Okie dokie, pokies. Here we come, here we come. Okay, so there's the second bucket. Attaboy. Oh. That's one. Okay, got them all. All right. Pretty exciting times. Okay, so let's look at the fish we just put in. There's everybody. So what I did here was I brought 10 gallons of water from my existing tank where these guys came from, and I put it in here with another 20 gallons or so of new water. So a third of the water in this tank right now is from the existing tank. The filter is from the existing tank. This moss and plants and stuff are also from the existing tank, and that filter in the back has been cycling for about a week, which is not cycled. So this tank, without this particular filter, I would not be able to put the fish in. If I didn't bring this in today, then that means I'm putting these fish into a precarious situation. So that's why I brought this filter, which is from the tank they were in, and so that's their filter from their tank, and that's one of the filters from their tank, and so that should be okay to hold these guys off until they move in. Once they pair up in the next couple of days, I'll move them into their own tanks and stuff. So there. And we did bring some more stuff I want to show you guys. So let's go upstairs. Unless you want to stay here and look at these for a few more seconds, let me know. Let me know. Okay, we can look at them for a few more seconds. DM wants to know, when will I start moving plecos? Probably this week. Well, all the fish except the zebra plecos will be moved by Tuesday. That's the plan, at least, or at least most of them will be moved by Tuesday, which means I have to set up some tanks here tonight, have them going, go home, move some of the tanks over, you know what I mean, like, and so on and so forth. Which ones? These are, this is a gold, that's a platinum, same bloodlines. They both come out of the same, from these marbles. So the original fish that all these were created from looked like that. That was in the 80s. So this particular design of fish was popular in the 80s. The like these guys here. So something that looked not like this big, but like something like that. So like this was from the 80s. Okay, this is the original gold marble line, and these were originally from this gold colored ones. And everything you see here is all from this particular line. Okay, so like the platinums come from it, these come from it, the reds come from it, you know, the blues do not. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you are trying to cross the blues back to this, you will have issues. It's the dog. Princess! Oh, there she is. Okay, kind of got me worried there. It's like, where's the dog, right? Don't want her running out and stuff. She doesn't run off, like, I'm not worried about that, but you know, she might just want to explore, go outside, just because she might say, oh, Dad's busy, let me go see what's outside, right? Because it's a new house, so she's still figuring things out too. So I don't know if you guys see, oh, you haven't seen this. So this is what I have set up so far up here. So these 3 tanks are gonna get set up right now. There's filters running, bed being cycled. I brought gunk from my house, filled up this tank with gunk. There's more gunk that we brought with filters and everything. This is filter gunk and filters, which are going to go into these tanks here, get them all running. We got an air pump. And I bought brand new air pumps from Gemco yesterday. So I spent over $1,000 yesterday buying air pumps. I bought 2 air pumps for $800 US, almost $800 US. Sorry, Canadian. It was $668 US. So I bought the 2 air pumps, which can feed 40 tanks each. So that's 80 tanks with the air. I bought all the piping, the hoses, everything that I need for that yesterday as well. So I spent another couple of $100 on that. Yesterday I spent almost $1,500 in total just getting stuff for this move, and I'm renting a truck from tomorrow till next week, so that's costing me some money too. So like, I'm not even looking at my credit card right now, I'm just swiping it without even consideration, you know. 3 Gemco, actually 4. We have a commercial pump downstairs too. We have 4 Gemco pumps. We have a pond pump, which is going to be in the basement, and I think there's like a few more, and I have some of these Amazon pumps also, like these things here. It's pretty powerful, but it's loud, so I don't really want to have those running full time. But right now, tonight, I'm gonna have this running. Get so my sponge filters can cycle and whatnot, and I'm gonna go from there. Not too worried. And yeah. So this is what I have set up here. I do need to get the filters running in these. You know, so these have had water for almost a week now. This one needs to be repaired, the dirty one, so I'm not going to fill that. These other tanks are ready to go. This actually had fish in it until this morning, and that one had fish in it until last week. And the one in the middle was empty, but you know, fill them up right now. Get the filters going, and go home tonight and try to bring some more fish tonight if I can. Probably another bunch of angels, which is what I really want to do over the next few days. Get their tanks empty. The super red ancestors would probably move over in like tonight or tomorrow if I can. I've set up some racks up here, so I'm gonna do that now. And yeah, so the next week's gonna be torturously busy. Oh yeah, no, I have bleed valves. Like when you call Gemco, if you guys have not checked out Gemco, highly recommend. Is to get in touch with Gemco. It's a really nice American company. A lot of the products, almost everything they sell is made in America. All the food and everything is local. You know what I mean? Like, so you're supporting the North American economy, local economy, like where we live, right? So that's a good thing about them. And they're America's premier fish room supply store. So you know, when you guys go to like aquarium co-op and stuff, I know you guys like doing that. If you go to Gemco and look at the prices, it's gonna be like night and day. Like the prices are gonna be much better. And they do have specific stock, like for if you want like fish, like large quantities of fish food to grow out your fish. You know, you want these commercial air pumps. Contact them. John is the gentleman who is one of the owners, I believe. He's a great guy. He built my entire central air system for me, custom built. I called him. I sent him specifications for what I wanted, how many taps, 120 taps that I wanted for, you know, basically to be moved here, not to this place per se, but when we moved to be, I planned for it, right? So I told him I want it to be big enough so I can add more pumps to it in the future and expand with it, you know what I mean? Like, and then he did exactly what I wanted. Costed me almost $1,500 for the air system that I have in my current facility, but it was worth it. The pump was like $400 odd with the shipping and everything. The manifolds costed me like $900. You know, like I hadn't built all that for me, so that was that. And the tubing and everything, like this flex tubing I bought here, $22 for 10-foot roll, and the connectors and everything, like $1.50, you know, the connectors and everything. But when you do buy the air pump from Gemco, like yesterday I was on the phone with the lady that was there, that works there. That I think she's one of the owners too. It's the same people. It's two people. It's husband and wife, I believe. And they're really nice. They know who I am, and you know, they talk to me and help me out and send. You know, I've been buying stuff from them. Okay. Oh, nice. I'm getting paid for today. Awesome. I do not have Sulawesi shrimp. No, actually. Give me a second, I'm responding to my work. Okay, so finally found out I'm getting paid for the day. They didn't want me to come to work because they thought I had COVID. Idiots. So, Marcy says I want to have an angel, but only have 20-gallon tall. I mean, I keep mine in 20-gallon talls. You can have it like one or a pair in a 20-gallon tall. But if you have a pair, they will breed, and then you can't keep anything else in that tank. So that's something to keep in mind. Could you keep an angel koi in a 29-gallon? Yes, yes, totally. You can keep one. If you want to keep more than one, you can keep the small ones for a short period of time until they become sexually mature. At which point they will start fighting and stuff. So you might have to, figure out what you want to do with them at that point. Rohan says, is your water really hard? A lot of calcium deposit on tanks. So some of these tanks I have not cleaned in a while, but there is some calcium carbonate in my water where I used to live. It's not hard, I would say, but the water company, I'll explain something about Toronto tap water for you guys. That's going to blow your mind actually once you learn this. So in Toronto, our water comes from Lake Ontario, okay? Lake Ontario's pH is 7.1 to 7.2, okay? That's the actual pH of the lake. So if you go and measure the lake, it's at about 7.1, 7.2. So it's pretty soft, regular water, 150 ppm type of deal. So what the city does is they suck out the water from the lake, and then they add lye or they add acid, which is in the form of some type of chemical acid, to bring the pH down to about 4.5, okay? Which in turn kills all the pathogens that's in the water. That's the idea, right? So they want to clean the water by adding acid. Then they add the chlorine, and then they add calcium carbonate. So and I know this because I have a friend that works for the city. Actually, not in water, but he is closely related, working with the water, the municipal water distribution people. So he's the one who gave me all this information. So they then take the water that is 4.5 to 5 pH, it's super acidic, and then they add calcium carbonate to that water to bring the pH up to 7.5 to 7.7. So that measuring, then they add in the calcium carbonate, it always changes a little bit. So depending on the month of the year and whatnot, there'll be months where the pH is really high and the water has a lot of calcium carbonate, and there'll be months where the pH is normal at about 7.3, 7.4, and there's a little bit of calcium carbonate. Now, where I used to live in the past, we had really good water, the other house, the previous house, but throughout the year there was times when the water did change a little bit and the KH was higher than normal, and so in turn, as a result, I do have calcium deposits building up in my air tubes sometimes. They hang on the back filter inlet. The breeding boxes, I have to clean regularly the inlet because the calcium carbonate will calcify inside the air tube, and it will stop the air from coming and stop the pump from working. So that's a pain in the behind. But yeah, that's what's happening in our tap water here. Outdoor ponds, gotta find out what plants to use. Thinking, yeah, hornwort. You can put like any easy to grow plants. They will be okay above 65 degrees Fahrenheit. They will not die when the temperature drops below 65, but they will slow down quite a bit, and then there's a chance of them catching bacterial infections and stuff. Depending on what's going on in the pond, so these are things to keep in mind. But cherry shrimp are really easy, guys and girls. What's going on, Tim Koch? Isn't adding chlorine to acid pretty dangerous? I don't know. I mean, that's what they're doing. I guess they're first adding the acid, then they're adding the calcium carbonate to bring up the pH and KH above 7.5 or to 7.5, and then they're adding chlorine. So the reason they're bringing up the pH is because our taps in Toronto a lot of them are metal. I think copper piping is what we have in a lot of houses and underground and stuff, and if they don't add the KH plus, that will corrode the piping, so that's why they add that. And then they add chlorine. We don't have chloramine in our water here, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so that's what happens. But yeah, you're right, I'm pretty sure if you added chlorine into 4.5 pH water, there would be some type of reaction. So, but yeah, like they go through this entire process to make the water safe and better for drinking. But when I drink the water here, for example, it tastes purely like chlorine. I hate how this water tastes, so I'm definitely not happy about that particular thing about this place. But at the same time, we can fix that issue by just aging the water. So we bought cisterns and drums to put water into and store it over a few days and aerate it, and then to fill our tanks with. Galvanized and copper. Yep, it is what it is. How do you clean calcium deposits? You gotta scrape it off or wash it off, or CLR, acid, like vinegar. White vinegar works really well. If you want to clean a tank, just add white vinegar. I'm not concerned about cleaning these tanks. These are going to be breeding tanks. I don't care about calcium deposits and the glass being dirty and stuff. I'll clean the front glasses once I have everything settled in, because I want to film and stuff with you guys and show off the fish and stuff. But a lot of the tanks upstairs are going to be breeding tanks, so we're not going to be concerned with like how the glass looks and things like that. It'll be the secondary thing. The main concern is the fish being alive and healthy and not having an issue with them. And as long as that's accomplished, I think everything else I'm not too worried about. Tim says our water tastes pretty good, but it's hard. Chlorinated only a few days of the year. Oh, that's not bad. I don't mind that. If they're not chlorinating regularly, that's a good thing. Here they throw too much chlorine. You can smell it when you bring it close to the nose in this particular area. It's like a swimming pool. It smells just like a swimming pool. It's disgusting. Nice, that's good, Paul. That's amazing, buddy. Congratulations. Nice. Good. Nice, Marcy. Who Davis? What's going on, Ray? How you doing, buddy? I did make a video of all the tanks before I started bringing them down, just for you. I thought about you, and I was like, I owe you that tour for like almost a year now. So I did film all the tanks and all the fish, and so Ray, stay tuned. You will get that tour, and then once we set up here, we will set up do another tour. What's going on, HG Aquatics? Ebor, what's up? What's up? Thank you. I shaved for work, and then they decided to cancel me because I tested positive on Sunday. I shouldn't have been tested. You know what I mean? I had COVID already, like a few weeks ago. So I'm going to test positive for like another month, even 2 weeks, if anything. So I told them that, but they still tested me. They kept me waiting all yesterday, telling me that I'm still booked. Get my call times and everything last night. They didn't have me going to work yesterday either, so I got paid for yesterday. But I said, listen, if you don't want me to come tomorrow, I don't care. You still have to pay me because I took time off from other jobs to take this job. You know what I mean? Whatever. So I shaved. I did everything I was supposed to do last night. Got ready for work, and packed my clothes and everything. You know what I mean? And got my licenses in organized and everything. And then I get a call from my agent at like midnight saying not to come to work. So I said, listen, if you don't want me to come to work, don't just call me. I need an email saying that you don't want me to come to work with a reason. And if they fail to provide a reason for me not to be able to go to work today, so I went to my union and I filed the complaint. I told them if I don't get paid for today, I will sue them. You know what I mean? Because they wasted my time. So my union fought them today, and then the production just sent me an email right now through my agent saying that they're going to pay me for the day, and that I have to fill out all the paperwork and everything. So I'm going to do that in a bit when I have a moment and get my paycheck for today. You know what I mean? What's going on, Heather? You know where to order some Texas Holy Rock in Ontario. Contact Tails and Scales. They'll know. They will have the link on it. So that's your best bet. How you doing, Ricky? I'm good, bro. How you doing, Chance? Nice. Yeah, no, they test us twice a day, every day, and I have to go in on Sundays to test for Monday, And then if I don't work a few days, I have to test the week before. I have to, take time off and go in to test. And when I go in the morning, I do a test, and then at like 3 hours in, 2 hours in, I have to go in and do a PCR test. And if any of those come back positive, they send you home, and then you can go to work the next day. But I called my union. I fought with the union rep, and I explained to her. I said, listen, you can't do this to me. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous. Like, I had 3 weeks off now for COVID. How am I supposed to live? How am I supposed to pay rent this month? You know what I mean? So then they finally, understood what I was saying. So I think what I did today is gonna now be the precedence for moving forward for our union. So anybody in our union is gonna get paid now when the production decides to send us home because of COVID. Until today, they haven't been doing this. So yesterday and today, I'm the first person in our entire union out of like 10,000 plus people that fought to get their paycheck. I was like, I'm not a chump. I'm gonna get paid. I know my rights. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, these are not rights. This and that. I'm like, bloody hell, they're not rights. I signed a contract with the union. I read the contract. I know exactly what it says. If you cancel me the day before, or whatever, within 24 hours, you have to pay me. You know what I mean? It's not my fault. It's not like, I got sick at work to begin with, and it's not my fault that I'm sick. You know what I mean? And they're not, it's crazy. Anyways, I was gonna Super Playco fans. The tests are 99% positive. You had COVID. Yeah, I had COVID. I had COVID 2 weeks ago. I'm cleared for work now. My doctor cleared me for work, so they can't discriminate me now. Against me, So I asked them. I asked my union, is it because of my skin color or medical condition? Because either way, you can't discriminate. It's my right to work. I know my rights. So I look exhausted. I am. I'm taking care of myself. I am exhausted though. I'm good, Super Playco fans. I'm trying. Yeah, I don't have to sue them. You know what I mean? I just have to say that I'm planning to sue them because they don't want to deal with the lawsuit, because they have been discriminating against a lot of people, and there's an entire group of people ready to sue them. So you just have to stand up for yourself. That's all it is. I think everybody needs to stand up for themselves, you know what I mean? And especially right now, we have to stand up for our rights, because if we don't say anything, they're going to keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. You know what I mean? Because there's no resistance, right? But you have to resist. That's what I feel. And I think my argument today with the union rep, because it's now going into the president of the union and everything, and I've had a huge argument with the president of the union like a month ago about this whole thing. I've been fighting them for this entire thing. So they are now setting up precedents, and they are now fighting for our rights, which is what they're supposed to be doing this entire time, which they haven't. So I'm glad that this is all working out finally, So my pleasure. So oh, they did. And there's still people that are terrified. My union rep hasn't left her house in 2 years. She's working remotely, and they're now requested to come back to work starting next week in May. And she's terrified to come into the office because she hasn't been out of her house for 2 years. Imagine that. This is a grown woman that is not has comorbidities or anything. There's a normal, healthy person in their late 20s, early 30s who's terrified to leave their house. It's scary. And then you see them, I have friends that are not friends but co-workers that show up in gas masks and stuff to work, you know what I mean? There's people that don't come near you, if they see you without a mask, they, all this stupidity, right? So, no, my union sucks too, okay? What I realize is the union is only as good as you. If you are willing to fight, they have to fight for you. But if you kind of let go, then they will not fight for you, because it's not like they need to fight when you're not fighting them for your rights. So you have to fight them for your right, let them know you're paying them to represent you, and then fight them if they don't fight on your behalf. So that pushes them to fight for you. That's their job. Yeah, agreed, Tim. 100% agreed. Ebor says, been looking into food webs and am interested in the autotroph to heterotroph pipeline, algae suspended in water column just happens, but you kind of have to add heterotrophs unless they hitchhike. Yeah, agreed. I mean, copepods are good. What's the other one that's good? There's these little bugs and stuff that live in your water in your tank, so those things, yeah, copepods are really good. And yes, Tim is right, it has been overgrown. Exactly, Igor, 100%. And yeah, like even when you're going to sell fish to the pet store, you know what I mean, the pet store guy, his incentive is to get the fish from you for free. Okay, so let's say you have some fish you bred. Okay, so you have like 100 fish and you want to sell these fish to a pet store. And I'm not giving anybody financial advice or business advice or anything. This is just common sense stuff. I'm just talking about what's happening. When you go to the pet store, this is what happens. If you never met the guy, whatever, and you tell them you have this particular fish, he might be interested, but he is definitely not interested in paying you. He wants those fish for free because a lot of times people breed the fish and just come to the pet store and drop them off for free, right? So he's not interested in paying you. So you have to let him know. If you don't give me something in return, I'm not giving you the fish. You might only get store credit, and then if they try to give you store credit, tell them you want more in store credit than in cash, and then it depends on what you want to do at that point. You can give them a deal the first time. Say, okay, I'll take store credit, whatever, at 25% or 30% of the selling price, and but starting next time or the time after, I would want cash because whatever. So take some store credit first, and then go from there. But if you don't fight them for selling, like if you don't fight for yourself and for your money, their incentive is to get it from you for free. You know what I mean? Same thing applies anywhere. Sean's Aquatic Life. Yes, sir. Well, we're still moving, and we'll see how it goes. There is a Give Send Go set up. It's Give Send Go /Aquamalik. Help out if you can. Super chats help too. This is already, I've already invested. Well, I'm in the hole for like 10 grand in the last month for this move, and it's not done yet. I still have to probably another $15,000, another $5,000 with the expenses alone, plus anything else that I might need to buy and set up and everything else too. So it hasn't been easy. And all the channel members too, thank you so much for helping out, being channel members, because it does help out quite a bit. Atta girl, Heather. See? And you just made $50 with snails, not even fish. Snails are actually a really good way to make money. And now, since you guys have been here, listening to me blab on for the last like 68 minutes, I'm gonna give you guys a little treat, okay? I'm gonna give you a little treat of something that I've been working on for a few months, actually a couple of years now. This is something I do to make money. This does make some money, so I'll show you guys how to make cheap money very easily, or easy money with very little investment. I will make a separate video about this, what I'm doing here, when we are more settled in. But for now, this is what we're going to resort to. So what I have here is a plastic box from Home Depot. It's a shoe box, right? And give me 1 second, I'll show you guys a brand new one. Okay. So this is the second box that we haven't set up. We are gonna set up at this place. Okay, so these things make money. How do you make money with this? Okay, what do I have in here? Oh look, I have dirt. I have a bunch of dirt. Some kind of animal got in here and built a nest. So there's something living in here. You can clearly see there's a nest happening here. This is a, wow, what kind of nest is that? Oh my god. Hopefully nothing that can bite me. Okay, I'm not gonna put my hand in there right now and get bit by some animal, but this is just dirt, okay? So that's what I'm using, all right. And what we're doing with the dirt is we are growing aquarium plants. So there's about $400 or $500 worth of plants in here. This used to be a purple or pink cryptocoral. It has turned red and whatever, so don't worry about that one. It's still nice. And some Windelhof ferns, quite expensive, this stuff. You know, pretty easy to propagate. It's going crazy, so I gotta pull these out and I gotta replant them. Anubias nana petite, or not Anubias nana, Anubias nana petite, and Anubias mini. See, these guys are like 20-25 bucks for one of these little cuttings. I have all over this container. I have those things growing like weed. Like, see, there's so many of them, right? So I've had this set up for almost 2 years or so. This particular box has been growing. I don't really harvest out of this. These I'm growing for myself. So this is how I propagate plants for me. And anything I like for example these or these little guys that look at this tiny one. This is like really nice. This is like a mini, right? It's a tiny mini. Look how tiny the leaves are on this one. So anytime I have something that I really like, I throw it into one of these boxes, right? And this is another small one, another tiny little mini one, and they just grow. Okay, so this costed me nothing. This box is about $3 at Home Depot. Comes with a lid. I think with the lid it's about $6. The dirt is free from the garden, and I just added a bunch of water in here, so you can see there's some water. And I planted these plants in here. I closed the lid and forget about it. Okay, that's it. And then I put this under a light. So essentially, this is the easiest way to make easy money from plant propagation, which is not having to do any work. Okay. Well, I'll explain that in a second. Let me just get my point across. This is the easiest way to make money. All you need is a decent light, a white full spectrum light, so like a fluorescent light or whatever. I'm using LEDs. And then just put them like this, and I have a light on top of it. I have like a few of these, usually like 5 or 6 on a rack, and I'll set up a whole rack for this on a top shelf, and I'll show you guys what this can yield into as we focus on it at this facility. But besides putting the water, putting the plants, putting the dirt, I have not sprayed, misted, opened this even once in the last 6 months, except to like maybe, you know, film or do something or whatever, or to pull a plant out because I needed a bit of you know, like I want like one of those Anubias plants, for example. I might open it to pull out one of the Anubias, and when I do that, I might move the other ones a little over just to kind of give everybody like the even amount of space, you know, if one is pushing into the other plants, whatever. But aside from that, I don't do anything else in this tank, in this container. When I first set it up, I did take a bunch of like fish poop water, and I used that in with the dirt originally to add like, a little bit of more nutrients than what it had. But beyond that, I haven't done anything. And this can stay like this forever. As long as the water is in there and it evaporates and it recirculates and everything, it works perfectly well. What you want to do periodically, if you want to increase the yield, is to open it, breathe a little bit into the container, like, you know, a few times, and then close it. Like if you do it every other day or something, just to add a little bit of CO2, that might help with the growth. Beyond that, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to put fertilizer. You don't have to do any added thing to make this work. And this is why I like to grow my plants immersed and propagate them this way to increase yield and to get them to grow faster. Now, coming back to the question, Very nice. Those are really expensive here. They're like 20-25 bucks for a little tiny little bit of the bonsai Anubias nana, like the, or the mini nana petite. Coming back to the point, Noyes wants to know, why do plants do well in dirt and so bad in aquariums? Now here's a fun fact. A lot of the aquarium plants that you will have at the pet store are not technically aquarium plants per se. A lot of these plants are marsh plants. So they can live underwater for short periods when the marsh floods, and then when the marsh recedes water and there's just the marshy environment, the plants live outside of water, which is when they do the best. Okay? So cryptocoran is a really good example, which is native to Sri Lanka. Some of the species of cryptocoran is native to my birth country, and I've seen them in rivers and stuff in nature. So in nature, when you look at the river banks, the cryptocorans will grow right at the edge of the river bank, maybe an inch of water or 2 inches of water, not any deeper. Like as you go into about a 6 inch or 8 inch of water, that particular types of cryptocorans are very rare, and then they reduce, and then eventually once you get into a foot or two of water, there's no cryptocorans in that water. So it seems to grow at the edge of the river, or lake, pond, or whatever it might be. And the advantage of being in such a low amount of water is that the roots of the plant and the stem of the plant can be underwater, but the leaves can come out and hit the surface, and in turn get carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, as opposed to the water column. There's very little carbon dioxide in the water column. Hold on 1 second. Hi, Michael.
Are you busy? You sound it.
I'm live streaming.
Oh, okay. Alright, back later.
Are you coming by?
No, I can't come by yet.
Okay. Okay. I will call you when I'm done, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye. That was Fish Easy. You guys probably know who he is. Yeah, just black dirt. That's all it is. I just went in my backyard, on my deck, and I have bags of dirt I use to plant like strawberries and stuff. I just poured a bunch of it into the box. It's just dirt. Just dirt. So this entire setup costs nothing. Like $6 for the box. Dirt is free from your garden or outside. Fish food water also is free. The plants, obviously, you would have to buy, or get some stems from a friend, whatnot, but beyond that, it costs nothing. And each of these boxes, if you do it right, you can make some money. And again, this is not going to make anybody a millionaire. None of these things are designed to be able to give you millions and millions of dollars by doing it, but it will offset some of the cost of your hobby, potentially, or having to buy plants, for example. How you doing, Mary? Like, for example, €8 is about $12 to $14 Canadian, you know what I mean? €8 is about $12, $13 Canadian, because euros are more expensive. So a tiny little piece of Anubias for $12 or $15 Canadian, it's so if you want to have a nice, you have a piece of wood, you want to have 20 pieces of Anubias, let's say each one is 10, that's $200, right? So it adds up when you want to buy plants. But what you can do is you can buy 2-3 stems, put it in one of these, give it a 6 months, cut them, as they grow, make it into like 8 stems, grow them that way. 6 months later, cut them into 16 or 24, whatever, and within a year or two, you have now an entire box full of Anubias that came out of nothing, right? So that's the potential benefit of this setup. How you doing, Mary? Have you seen Aqua or NW Aqua Hobbies channel? No, I have not. Maybe I have. I can't remember. I follow a lot of people, so. Exactly. Anubias is not a hard plant. As long as you have sunlight and a very little bit of nutrition, it will do good. But the problem is if you have like algae and stuff in your container or in your tank, it can create issues like by covering the plant and then stopping it from photosynthesizing, which kills the plant. My dog needs to stop making a mess. I know. Look at you. Look at you. Yes. Come. Come. Let's get on camera. Atta girl. Where's my kiss? Atta girl. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. You're so good. You're so good. Look at this big head. Big head. Big head. Oh, I've got you by the head. Whose big head do I have? Your big head. Yeah, I know. I love you too. Yes, Baba. Okay. She's so big. Look at her. Oh my God. Okay, no, we're not playing. Okay? No. Stop biting me. All right. There we go. What's going on, Michael? How you doing? Fishy's in the house. Thank you. Yeah, that also works. If you put like a clear plastic sheet over your container, that seems to work really well also. You know, like water will evaporate from the box and create a film of like little tiny droplets, and then it will rain down. Like this has its own ecosystem. I don't know if you guys can see that, but look, this has a rain ecosystem, okay? Like I'll show you what I'm talking about. It rains in here, look. So this moisture, see this? Over time it builds and there's a droplet coming down, and then every like, I don't know, whenever there's drops falling into the box, so it regenerates itself. I don't have to mist this, I don't have to do anything. I look at this every 6 months, literally, barely actually, probably longer than that. You know what I mean? Like I barely do anything to this, and it grows and it does its thing. So actually, I'll tell you guys a little secret. Before the YouTube channel, before I started breeding plecos, I had some angels and discus and a couple of plecos. This was like probably late, like 2015 or so. My plan was to grow plants to sell to market, to sell to Tails and Scales actually, because they have a huge plant collection and they were going to expand. So I set up a lot of the rack systems that you see at the old facility was set up to grow plants on the top shelves and to have fish on the bottom shelf, right? On the top two shelves was supposed to be plants, and the bottom shelves was supposed to be, discus, angels, whatever, and some plecos. So what ended up happening was I got into doing more plecos, and I kind of lost interest in growing plants because the plants were not moving and doing it. They just sit there and there's nothing for me to do. I'd come home and nothing to do with them, right? So they kind of lost interest in them. But I definitely still have a few of these boxes running at the old place. I have a moss box. I have a dwarf hairgrass, 2 boxes of those. I have this box, a few others like this. So it does do its own thing, and I rarely have to look at them. I rarely have to take care of them. There's no maintenance, there's no work, and there's a reward, there's a return that is pretty nice from having this going. So that's essentially it. Okay, babe, relax, okay? Calm down. There we go. A nice phone call. Well, he lives like 5 minutes from here. Like he called, I'm pretty sure just before he pulled into his driveway, or right as he was pulling into the driveway, to say hi. And so I told him I was live streaming, so he let me go. And I'm gonna call him after I'm done here now, which is probably gonna be in the next few minutes. That's the good thing about this place. Michael is like 5 minutes away. Pleco Fever is about 12 minutes drive. Like my work is only 20 minutes from here. So that's good. A lot of those are good. If I have to work downtown, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get to because I'd have to travel across the city for like 40 minutes. But it's still like from here to get to downtown, even in rush hour, it took me an hour to come here from downtown. So it's not that bad for me to drive to work, unless it's like downtown, where no cars can get into. Then I would have to park my car at a subway station or whatever, and then take the bus. Oh, look at you, so cutie. Oh. All right, no biting. she's being very playful right now because she thinks it's playtime. It's a big house with no furniture, right? She gets to like walk around and sniff around and do things. So it's been fun. It's been fun. Okay. All right. Move from there right now. Move. Thank you. Oh, ow. Okay. Oh my God, you're too much sometimes. She is too much sometimes. It's so big. But the neighbor's kids today, it was so funny because when I pulled into the driveway, the neighbor, like one house over, has two little kids, like 5 and 7 maybe, like so like little ones, right? And so they were playing in the main road area, and I pulled in. So she told them to move so I can get my car in. So I didn't ask them if I was gonna park out there. It didn't matter to me, but she got them to move. So when they moved, I reversed my car into the driveway. And the kids were like, "Can we say hi to your dog?" Right? The mom was a little reserved because she didn't know if my dog was friendly or not. So I said, "Yeah, sure." So I put the window down in the car and let my dog sit in the car. And because they're small kids, I didn't want them to like first interaction. My dog sometimes gets excited. You know what I mean? And she loves kids, so she might just try to like lick the kid like for like blah, 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 whatever, and the kid falls or whatever, something happens. I don't want that, right? So I had the dog sitting in the car, and I let them come up to the side of the car and pet her, right? So they were interacting with her for like a good 20 minutes. And so the mom felt really nice that the dog was sitting in the car like a gentle, like very gently and getting pets and stuff from her kids. And everything was very nice and kosher. So that was good. And I said hi to the neighbor next door who has a little child. And so they saw me with the dog inside the house. I opened the door and they were standing right at the other side of the fence. So I said, "Hi neighbor." I said, "How you doing, neighbor?" And then they introduced me to their like baby, which is like a 1-year-old. Name is Nolan. So I said, "This is my child." And so he saw the dog and he was like, "Oh, she's so cute," whatever. So I told him, she's older and she doesn't really, like to go out and do much, but she's still good for another 4 or 5 years hopefully. And so you'll see her, And so they're all happy with all that, which is good. The other neighbor has not seen the dog yet, but I think they'll be fine with it too. They don't have any kids, so I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? If they have kids, that's when you gotta worry about it because, kids and, something happening like in terms of like with her, the main concern is her being excited and the kid, like her trying to like lick the kid's face or something because she likes doing stuff like that. She likes licking people on the face, whatever. That's how she says hi, And the kid falls back or whatever. I don't want that, you know what I mean? Trying to avoid that type of stuff. What's going on, Longfin? And yes, she does want attention. Mehdi says, "I'm located little far from you, all the way in Oman. Not sure if you know where that is." I know where that is. Oman is in the Middle East, next to Qatar, I think. And Saudi Arabia is close by to you guys. I was in Dubai actually, in Abu Dhabi when I was a kid. So I lived there for the first year and a half of my life. I don't remember any of it, but I was out in Abu Dhabi when I was like 2, and then my parents moved back to Sri Lanka when I was like 3 or something like that, or whatever. I can't remember because I was a child. So, but I do have pictures of me, in the desert and stuff, playing in the sand. So yeah, I know exactly where Oman is. On a map, I can probably figure out, point it out and show you. So that's nice. And welcome. Hello to Oman. How you doing? And I got a message from Jonathan asking if mine spawned. He's talking about zebra placos. Not sure. I haven't checked. So this is a benefit of being a member, especially the breeder level members. They are able to message me questions and stuff directly whenever they want. So, like Jonathan is a friend, so he messages me all the time, random stuff too. But this time he was asking about my zebra plecos, which we are looking, like his zebra plecos are getting ready to spawn. So I'm super excited, and mine are spawning right now. So, we're keeping track of each other's progress and also trying to figure out how the weather systems in the eastern part of North America is affecting our fish. because he lives in Massachusetts. I live down here in Toronto, and I have another friend that lives in another part in between us. So I get information from all of us to kind of like figure out if all of our fish are going to spawn at the same time, and it's the same time when we have a low pressure system or something. It might be something to correlate, you know. So the more data points we have, the better it is. So it's nice to have that. And then also member benefits, you know what I mean? Asking questions, figuring out what to do. You know, anytime you have a question, you can message me. So these are good pluses for all the members, and everybody that's a member. There's also a group chat for all the members to communicate with each other. And so, you know, even if I'm not live streaming, I'm in contact with all of the people that are channel members, and they have direct access to me 24/7, and I get back to them like right away. So that's what we're doing with the whole member thing. So if you do want to support, join and become a member. And I'm looking at, okay, awesome. So how do you recommend to get started? Do you recommend angelfish or just no? What do I recommend? Easy fish. Fish that you don't mind flushing down the toilet if they died. And I'm not saying that lightly. Every life is special and precious. Life matters. We don't want to take life for granted. But you want to keep forgiving fish that are able to tolerate issues, or you know, a cycle crash or something like that, and without too much of an issue. And the fish that seem to be the best for this purpose is guppies, live bearers, mollies, or any of those types of fish that are you know, live bearers essentially. So I would recommend starting off with a tank of like guppies or mollies or swordtails or sailfin mollies or whatever, black mollies or whatever you want to have. Pupfish are good. American flagfish are good. You know, so those are easier fish to keep, and they breed easily. And have some plants in there so that you know you have some ecosystem for them. And start with those. And if you can keep that alive for 5-6 months, then you can move on to keeping tetras and rasboras. Some of the easier tank bred types of tetras are recommended. You know, pork chop rasboras. You know, like black spur tetras. Those are, you know, tank bred animals, super easy to keep alive, as long as you have like a good cycle in your tank. So they tolerate a variety of pHs and water conditions and stuff like that. So that's the second fish, I think, after you've advanced and kept guppies alive for a while. What's going on, Jason, California? How you doing? And then once you have about a year's worth of experience keeping guppies and tetras and things like that alive, maybe some gouramis, they're pretty easy to keep alive, also because they're air breathing fish. So even if the water quality starts deteriorating a little bit, the gouramis are not affected as much because they don't breathe out of the tank, they breathe from the surface. So that's another good option. Any type of, you know, like antibiotic, I forgot what the actual word is, the air breathing fish. So gouramis, betas. So that's level 2. So level 1 is guppies, level 2 is tetras, gouramis, betas, you know, and easy rasbora types. Once you've graduated from those two, about 2 years, a year and a half in, then you can start looking at getting like smaller cichlids, you know, like angelfish and stuff. You would need a decent amount of understanding on your setup before you get something like discus. I would recommend to have 4 or 5 years of experience keeping tanks and not having regular issues, and then you can say, okay, I'm gonna set up a brand new tank and I'm gonna get some discus and I'm gonna dive into this whole experience of keeping discus. Keeping discus alive is not easy. You gotta, like, complete honesty, discus are one of the hardest fish to keep alive if you don't know what you're doing. And it boils down to one thing. It boils down to the animals coming with diseases or picking up diseases, you know, en route to your house or at your tank. And they are very susceptible to a lot of these diseases because tank bred animals that have lived in a facility without being, like, you know, imagine a person that's never had a cold or a flu. So if you raise children in complete isolation away from the world, and then you put them out into the world at 18, they would get sick immediately. They would catch like a million diseases and they would die, right? Kids develop immunity through their life by eating dirt, being outside, coming into contact with other kids, and catching diseases. That's how they build immunity. So if that has not happened to your kid or your discus fish over its lifetime, and then you bring it home to your tank, you put it in your tank, there's a few, dormant diseases that are always in tanks. Ick is, one of them. Columnaris or whatever is another one. Costia is another one. These diseases sometimes are in your tank, just existing without it being a problem. But this animal you're putting in might not be able to handle that disease because it's never come into contact with it its entire life and has no natural immunity to it. So that's where the problem is with discus and stuff. And then feeding them is a little bit of work. Same with angelfish also, because these animals are detritivores in nature. So they have very small stomachs. I've explained this in a few other videos too. Like if you're looking at a discus, let's say this hand is the discus, okay? So this is the whole fish. The mouth is here, the poopy part is here, so like its ass is here. The tract from the mouth to the pooping area is very small. This is its entire digestive system, right? The animal is this whole thing, which means that to keep this whole thing alive, food needs to pass through this area every second of every day. If they're not regularly eating, like constantly eating, grazing and picking up little bits of food, they are not getting enough nutrition. So over time, the animal has a lot of fat reserves up here on its shoulders and stuff. You will start seeing the shoulders, like the fat reserves shrinking and shrinking, and the fish getting skinnier and skinnier. The main result for that is either worms, bacterial infection in the gut so that the food is not being absorbed, or you're just not feeding enough. So these are the three main causes. So that kills a lot of discus untimely. Same with angelfish. With my angelfish, I try to feed them 2 to 3 times a day for the adults. Babies get fed 5, 6, 7 times a day. I try to actually have food in the tank where the babies are 24/7. So I put a bunch of brine shrimp, and they live in there for like 6 to 7 hours, sometimes even a little longer, and that feeds them that entire time. And when I leave to work, I throw a whole bunch of brine shrimp in the morning if I'm gone for 12 hours. So they're only like without food for about 4 or 5 hours in the evening, and then I come home and I feed them again. And then before I go to bed, I feed them again, and when I wake up in the morning, I feed them again before I go to work. So that's what I've been doing with the angels. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Move them to a colder tank. I guess it gets pretty hot in Oman. You might want to take that into account when choosing fish. Yeah, I would recommend keeping discus and some pleco types when you're more experienced. For right now, when you're starting off, guppies should be okay with the heat. Mollies are fine with this, like the periodic worm. But definitely keep in mind, you do want to keep your tank below 30 degrees Celsius at all times, especially if you're going to keep like sensitive fish that cannot tolerate warmer temperatures. And if it does get to like 30 degrees temperature, you need to increase the oxygen concentration to offset any negative effects of the warmer temperature. But yeah, I guess it gets, yeah, that is true. If only my L47 was not get to meteorological hint though. Chilling killed some quarries today. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I suggest no drastic changes. Agreed. What you do? Sebastian said the recent storm have made my L02 very frisky. Got a spawn and a trapping that didn't take. Nice. Congratulations on your spawn. Angelfish to salt start with. No, I do not recommend angelfish or discus to start with. Those are like experienced fish. I would say you need to have many years of experience. Nice. Jonathan from Nonstop Aquatics just messaged me and said he's trying to trigger his zebra plecos to spawn. So we are now gonna hope and pray to God that they do spawn in the next couple of days, because I really want them to spawn also. So it's been about 100 minutes, almost 2 hours. I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna drive back to the old house in a bit, try to get things going over there. I don't know how everybody that's joined in right now. Let's go and look at the fish that we added to the tank downstairs before we sign off, so you guys get to see what's going on over there. And these are the tanks that are being set up now here. I'm gonna fill these two tanks up, get filters going in there, get some filters going in these, and start bringing the rest of the fish starting tonight and tomorrow. I'm probably gonna bring some fish tonight again and try to get these done as much as I can before I rent the truck, because once I rent the truck, I want to bring the bigger tanks and stuff like that. So I want to kind of plan it out properly, you know. So that's what's going on in this room. There's only 2 tanks in here. There's gonna be tanks on both sides of the wall. So we got some tanks in. I brought, well, these are actually both from Daniel. So he's the Goji on YouTube. He gave these 2 tanks as well as a bunch more, but these 2 are not, they don't need to be sealed, so they're like good to go. So the reason I'm setting them up right now is because I don't need to seal them. So anything that doesn't need to be sealed, we're setting up. Anything that needs to be sealed is sitting up until we are ready to do the repairs on those. Okay, so we're going downstairs to the main floor, and we'll look at some of the fish we brought in today. So here we are. These are the fish that we brought in. They're doing great. I just added them to the tank. This is a brand new tank. Look at this male. He's a foot, 12 inches top to bottom. That thing up alone is about 5 inches. His trailer on the top, and then the bottom one is about another 5 inches, and the fish itself is about 2.5 inches. So in total, he's actually more than a foot. This one's about 25 centimeters or like 10 inches or so. So these guys are 1 year old. So is he, 1 year old. Really nice. He's a male. Look at him. He's like showing off. Oh, he attacks this guy. No, don't do that, buddy. I'm gonna put you in a different tank if you keep doing that. You do not hurt him. Okay, fam. Oi, move. Oh, I'm gonna have to move him. So that's something I gotta do today when I get back here. He's really pretty. Look at him. He's really pretty. So that's that tank. Let's look at the shrimpies. So these are the shrimp we just put in. There they are. There's no filter in this tank or anything. I'm not doing any of that for this tank right now. Don't have to worry about it. These are Sakura Reds. They've been breeding in a breeder box at my old house. So I just brought them in, dump them in the entire breeder box, and that's that. And we got some betas. I don't know if you can see the betas. Where is the beta? He's doing his own thing. Oh, there he is. Try to get him on camera for you. Oh. And he's gone. Okay, so that's him. We'll try to film in here better. I'll get a light and stuff in here. Figure out what to do with that. How we're gonna set it up for the lighting. I spilled my dog's water, so I gotta clean that up before I leave. But yeah. What would you recommend as a good source of info for a beginner? I would say go to, on YouTube, I would say Jason, what's his channel? Well, okay, firstly, Keeping Fish Simple, I want to give him a shout out. Nick, he's really good. He does have some videos that are for beginners, but his stuff is also not always for beginners. There are channels that are good. I have them highlighted on my channel too. I just can't remember on the top of my head. Like a lot of the channels on Facebook, on YouTube that are good tend to be for advanced fish keepers. Beginner stuff is not that much promoted. I mean, there's people making videos a lot, but like a lot of times those people have very limited information themselves. They're not like the experts making beginner videos. So I wouldn't recommend going to one of those for information, just because then you might get wrong information. I'm trying to remember what Jason's channel is. I can't remember on the top of my head. Oh my god. But yeah, I will try to make a video about that actually, to try to give you guys some new content where you can go and learn about nitrogen cycle and stuff like that, you know what I mean, and then come back here once you have like a few years of experience. And also for this channel, for Aqua Malik, I might do a series of videos for beginners, just so that you know, there's some information, because I don't want to leave people hanging. So I might do that. Primetime Aquatics, there you go. Primetime Aquatics is the bomb, okay? Especially the stuff he had from a couple of years ago. He has really good content, and really cool guy also. Primetime Aquatics is the channel, and KG Tropics, that's the next one. KG Tropics is really good also. They have a lot of beginner videos, and the thing about Lisa and her husband, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they are really good fish people. Same with KG Tropics, same with Jason and his wife, both fish keepers, and they're amazing individuals, and their content is really good, geared towards new fish keepers, very educational. I know Jason is a science teacher in high school, I believe. I'm friends with him on Facebook, you know what I mean? So I oddly like chat with him, or I see his posts and stuff. But I do know that he's a science teacher. I believe he's a biologist. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he is. He's very intelligent, and he's a teacher. So when he explains stuff, it's like going to class and learning. So his videos all the time are very educational. So I really like that about his content. KG Tropics also, they make a lot of good content for new fish keepers and intermediate level fish keepers. Not a lot of advanced knowledge, I would say, but it's still worth it. I watch their channels regularly, you know, like get information, you know, kind of like reinforce my ideas, or like, you know, whatever, things like that. Or, you know, how I could talk to a new fish keeper when they ask a specific question. I learned that stuff from these guys, so they're great. There's other channels as well. There it is. Thank you so much, Canestio Valley Cichlids. David in the house. There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love Girl Talks Fish is okay. There are times when I watch some of their videos and I'm just like, okay, you really need to learn what you're talking about. But I mean, again, they're new fish keepers. They're channels for new fish keepers. A lot of the content is good, you know. So Girl Talk Fish is also, I mean, decent. I would not say like to take everything they say as like truth 100% all the time, because it seems sometimes they just reading information off from like a website or whatever, and they're just following that, not really experience based, which is still like not bad, but you know, it's limited, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But with like Primetime Aquatics, for example, and Michael Fish Easy's channel is really good too. But again, Michael's channel is like similar to mine, where it's more geared towards advanced fish keepers. So Michael talks about breeding and, you know, raising fry food and stuff. So to a beginner, that's not what you need. You need more like nitrogen cycle, how to not kill fish, essentially, what you need to do to keep them alive, you know what I mean? What kind of fish should you get for first time fish keepers? And I think those channels that was mentioned, as well as Girl Talks Fish, you know, those are good. There's more, there's a lot more. I just can't remember on the top of my head. And as I do remember, I'm probably like, oh, I should have said that one, But, you know, I'm just drawing a blank. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do here now before I leave, because I'm about to leave here in a bit and go to the old house and to get some more animals and try to come back for a second trip for today. So real quickly, we'll look at our shrimpies. Nice Sakura shrimp. David says Malik is in the new house. Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. I will do my best. Okay. Very nice. Thank you, Michael. Who's Michael? Which Michael? There's a lot of Michaels. Oh, what's his name? Yeah, he's not bad. Michael, I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his channel name, but he's not bad. He's not bad either. He is a little outspoken, and I like that about him, and he sticks to his guns. But again, sometimes some of the information I'm just like, buddy, like seriously. But you know, it is for beginners, so it's not like you're gonna need information on like zebra plecos or discus or anything, so it's not like too much of an issue. If you're a beginner, you're gonna keep beginner fish, so the information is good enough for that. Keep your fish alive type of deal. So definitely. And I heard about the Facebook group, so I heard that it's a what's the word that was it was funny because he does not hold back, I think, as far as I can tell, which is good. I'm like that too to some extent, so he calls people out on their things. So some people get offended, some people are like, oh, he's so mean, whatever, but I think it's a good way to learn. Go to these people, figure it out. But yeah, if I think of more, I'll try to mention more in my other upcoming live stream. So stay tuned, and I will try to do more live streams as we're doing the move. Okay. Skornik, there you go. Oh, also, Father Fish, man. Like, if you're a new fish keeper or an advanced fish keeper, I think the one channel that seems to cover a lot of the things is Father Fish. Father Fish is brilliant. Follow him, subscribe to his channel. If you're a member, you can contact him on his channel. If you're a member, he adds you on Facebook, I think, and you can directly contact him. If you're a member on my channel, he's on our chat group, so he might oddly respond to some of your questions. But I don't recommend not becoming a member in his channel and try to contact him through mine, which is not cool. Okay, because he does have that option available. So become a member in his channel and contact him through that, and go from there. And this guy is going after my big. Hey, buddy, relax. Really, I'm gonna move you, eh? You're gonna go into a tank by yourself if you keep doing this. Seriously. Seriously. Dude, I'm gonna put you in a tank by yourself. Sorry. Gotta establish rules, right? It's my house, right? It's like not the fish are also here, it's their house too, but you can't hurt each other, it's not cool. So establishing ground rules. Right. So everybody else is chilling. I was more worried about her. Like, she's the bully. She's usually the bad one. Okay. She was living on her own tank for the longest time because she would attack everybody else. These guys were all together except him. He was in a separate tank also. So he's the big boy in the tank with the group. So they are all like he's their king, And he's like, oh, another king has come in. No, you can't do that. But you cannot do that. Anyways. That's what's going on here. So this is our new setup, and thank you so much for following along and coming through this journey with me. What's going on, Amaro? How you doing? And does nice summer guppy tubs too. Yeah, Father Fish. Yes. Father Fish is amazing. I love him. He's great. Like, he's very intelligent, and he has decades of experience keeping fish. I think he's been keeping fish since he was a kid, and he's an older guy, right? He's an elderly gentleman. You're not that old, but he's definitely older than me, and so he has a lot of experience, a lifetime of experience keeping fish, and without all these mechanical devices and sumps and what I mean. None of these things existed back then. Like, they didn't have heaters. You know what I mean? A lot of the tanks were kept without nothing. You just had the tank, you had some plants, you had to have it near a window so you got some sunlight to grow your plants, and you could keep like 1 or 2 or 3 fish depending on how big your tank is. That's how fish used to be kept, right? Like, people didn't have like all these mechanical equipment where you can overload the tank with a ton of fish and anything fails, they all die type of. That didn't exist. Everything had to be balanced and proper and perfect, and Father Fish has that experience already. So when he talks about fish, I think he brings out that experience, and that's what he's talking from, is years of experience keeping fish without these mechanical devices. And that I believe is very important in understanding the basics of fish keeping, because once you understand that, you can keep anything alive without any problems. You can bring fish out of buckets and put into tanks that haven't been cycling for months and months or weeks and weeks, and without worrying. So you understand the basic concepts, then you can do those things. So I think that's important. So Michael's Facebook. Thank you so much. And yes, happy fish keeping. I love every single one of you. so much. Thank you so much for being here. All the subscribers, members, just random people watching, anybody that came in new in the last few days, 2 weeks. Thank you so much. I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your love and support has helped grow this channel and to grow into this place. This is all because of you and your support. Everything you're doing, watching these videos, liking these videos, commenting, sharing, super chatting, whatever you're doing, being engaging with me on Facebook, whatever, it's inspiring me, it's motivating me, it's making me work harder to do more with you guys and girls. And I really want to appreciate you and say thank you for doing that. And all my channel members, including Sandy, mwah. Sandy's an amazing artist. If you want to contact her, check out her YouTube. Also, she also is a horse equestrian trainer, and she is an amazing artist. She does custom work. This is one of her paintings that we are gonna hang in this house. She painted that for me. It's a beautiful painting. The lighting is crappy here, so that's why it's not showing as well. But she is amazing at drawing horses, sceneries, trains, fish, lifelike. I mean, she drew a train set, like a train coming through a mountain, and it looks like the bloody thing is moving. So really, really, really talented. So contact her and get some work done if you want to get some artwork done of your fish or whatever else, of your significant other, of your dog, or whatever. She will do commission work. So that's awesome. And thank you so much for everybody. And yes, hit the like button. Let's get it to 50 likes before we go. Okay? Thank you, Patty. And yes, I love every single one of you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to sign off, and I got to do some work here and then drive an hour into the city and pick up fish and drive back for another hour and then try to do the same thing again, So I'll see you all soon. God bless you. If you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream. It helps me out quite a bit. And, share my channel and be supportive. Join, subscribe, whatever, you know what I mean? Become members. All that is good. All that's helpful. Likes are always good. Sharing is always good. That's the best way to help, is like, share, subscribe. Those three things always helps. Thank you so much, George. You're still here, right? Thank you. I love you, man. You're the best. Thank you, Mary. Hit the like button, everyone. And I'll see you soon, okay? God bless you. Okay, everybody's still talking. I shall, George. I will call. You know what? Once this week is out of the way, we'll get on the phone and we'll FaceTime or whatever, and we can hang out, drink a beer. Okay? I don't know. I know. Do you drink beer? I don't know. I can't remember. I think you do. But and yes, please hit the like button. It helps me out quite a bit. So let's get to 50. Thank you, S. Dude, you still here? Thank you. I love you all. God bless you. Okay? I'll see you soon. Bye.